Good morning. Excuse me. Welcome to 365 Days of Richer Living, daily morning reading, meditation, and prayer time. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the newly joined Centers for Spiritual Living Communities of Columbia and Greater Baltimore. Today is September 10th. And this morning I'm reading from the Practitioner Handbook for Spiritual Mind Healing by Reverend Dr. Mary E. Mitchell. And I opened it to page 179, and my eyes landed on the middle paragraph that starts with, well, it actually says this. The best way to understand the Buddhist doctrine is to practice it. What is known as the threefold path includes morality, meditation, and wisdom, all done simultaneously. The Buddhist principle for life is to find the middle way between a life of extreme sensuality and luxury and extreme asceticism. The real Buddhism has no rituals, no rites, no manuals or books. It is the practice of the body, voice, and mind working together against suffering. Every aspect is designed to bring knowledge. So what does that offer us? Aside from a glimpse into Buddhism, I think that same idea is easily and necessarily extrapolated to any idea, perspective, doctrine, theology, belief system, that the best way to understand it is to practice it. Because in practicing it, I get to experience it. And then I get to experience how it resonates in my being, how it vibrates in my being. Whenever I think of resonance, I think of tuning a guitar. And what I was taught is that aside from listening to the matching pitch, to tune it even more perfectly, what I'm listening to is one vibration. Two strings, one vibration. And so if I'm able to detect any separation in the vibration of the two strings, one of them is out of tune. And when I extrapolate that learning to my life, to trying out different ideas, to trying out questions, if you will, right? If a question comes up, I wonder about this, to take it for a test drive. Does it resonate with my being when I'm engaged in that activity? Am I at one with the essence of myself? Or is there some rub? Is there something that's out of resonance? And then to explore what that is. It can be a really interesting thing, and I think one of the challenges that it points out in this paragraph, it is the practice of the body, voice, and mind working together against suffering. Now, I know the word against can be a trigger word for some metaphysicians. And perhaps a different way to language that is to look at it in resonance, right? To look at it from the perspective of it is the practice of the body, mind, and voice working together to heal suffering. Because our suffering is going to be a different resonance than our healing. And which string do we want to tune to? Do I want to tune my awareness, my voice, my mind, my body to wholeness? Or do I want to tune it to suffering? And so if we think of it in terms of that metaphor of tuning a guitar, you're tuning two strings against one another. They're not in opposition to one another, they're just against one another, the resonance. And so I invite you to use that as a way to begin to reframe this concept of against as necessarily oppositional, in parallel, one measuring the other. Which one do we want? Which one am I going to put my attention on? Where am I going to put my focus? Where am I going to put my energy? Perhaps if we stop seeing against as necessarily and categorically oppositional, it will stop the experience of it being oppositional. Perhaps it kind of could sort of maybe work out that way. So I'm not seeing anyone joining me this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and read this paragraph one more time and take us into our time of meditation and contemplation. 5 minutes of exactly what we're invited to do. Practice. And just allow whatever comes up to come up. I invite you to just be present with yourself, with your thoughts, with your surroundings, with your body, with your chair, wherever you are, for 5 minutes, not trying to make anything happen and not trying to make anything not happen, not trying to rid yourself of anything. Just practice being present. Okay, here's the reading again. The best way to understand the Buddhist doctrine is to practice it. What is known as the threefold path includes morality, meditation, and wisdom, all done simultaneously. The Buddha's practice for life is to find the middle way between life of extreme sensuality and luxury and extreme asceticism. The real Buddhism has no rituals, no rites, manuals, or books. It is the practice of the body, voice, and mind working together against suffering. Every aspect is designed to bring knowledge. in this moment, in this body, in this room, in this breath, I recognize there is only one substance, one power, everywhere present, one nameless, changeless everything, infinite possibility, unformed and formed, seen and unseen, known by many, many names. It can never be encompassed in one name. It is infinite. It is omniscience. It is omnipresence. It is omnipotence. It is whole, perfect, and complete, self-existent, creating out of itself, to express itself, to expand its experience of itself. I know it as creation. I know it as love. I see it everywhere I look. I hear it in every sound I hear. It is closer than my breath. It is my breath, my body. It is consciousness itself, expressing as all life, as creation, as the magnificent diversity of one individualized in multiplicity, never separate from itself. And in the wholeness of one, every expression is intricately, inseparably linked to the other. And so beyond never being separate from source, no expression of it is ever separate from another expression of it. Never intended to be the same and impossible to separate. This is the truth of my being. I am the I am expressing in the form of me, desiring to express itself through the desires of the being that is me. Desiring to experience itself as this journey of apparent opposites, yet never in opposition to itself. It is that play of resonance, bringing non-resonance into alignment, bringing the divine self and the human self into alignment as one self. This is my journey. This is the journey of all life, to simply recognize and be the depth and breadth and magnificence of what we each were created to be. And so I speak my word, lifting up all of life, recognizing that My word, the same as any word, is the word of the infinite speaking itself into being. That each and every individualized expression is a portal of divine expression, is the activity of the creative process itself, individualized in form. And so I speak my word, claiming and affirming that all of life, every expression of it, is awakening to the magnificence of their being, to the wholeness, to the interconnectedness of all life. And that as awakening occurs, the balance of perception is made manifest in the thinking, in the heart, in the perception, in the practice, in the alignment of human expression with spiritual essence. I speak my word, claiming and affirming that balance is the only opulence I choose. No longer a need to be less than or greater than, but simply to be. No longer willing to have less or have more, but simply to have the desires of my heart in balance with every expression in a world that works. Because a world that simply works must work for all, for every expression of life, animate and inanimate. Because in the reality of one, even what I see as inanimate is alive, simply expressing at its level of expression. And so I claim and affirm that I move through this day owning the harmonious operation of one as the activity of this day, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life in every interaction with every expression of life. With the air I breathe, with the rain that falls, with the wind that blows, with the people I meet, the roads I drive on, the vehicle I drive, all of it inseparable, precious expressions of life. And so I choose to see and interact with them as such. And I am grateful. I am grateful that the word spoken is instantly received by the doer in the triune nature of creation itself. Received exactly as it is believed, acted upon, and instantly made so. And so I know there is no waiting period. There is no searching for, was my prayer answered? But rather a deep, abiding knowing that it is always answered. The prayer itself is the answer. And so I release all doubt. I release anything that would in any way restrict or minimize the full experience of the word made manifest. And I move through this day awake, aware, present, practicing the presence that I am. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.